This is an EG4 solar mini split heat pump, and I made this support for it here outside off the ground. Find it up off the ground, and I'll probably put a little bit of a cover over here to keep the snow off in the winter. Anyway, so now I got to get it out of the box. I didn't deck the whole thing because it only needs like 22 inches here. And here's the specs. This is the outdoor unit here. Runs on DC 90 to 380 volts. There's the weight. And everybody likes to know how it's packaged, so it's hot out here. Looks like it's packaged pretty well. No problems. I'll get it unboxed. Here's the line set on the side. I decided to redesign the platform a little bit. From original, I raised it up higher and put a solid deck in it. So I think it's better than it was. Here's the energy efficiency guide. 22 SEER2 rating and 9.5 of HSPF2. And here's the comparison to the most efficient models. This number higher is more efficient, so it's pretty far low on this. I'll have to look up and see. Sometimes a lot bigger units are comparable. And this one is least efficient, most efficient. So it's kind of low on that end, but not super low. But it's not the most efficient one you can get. I got it because it's going to run off of solar direct. That's my main reason. Okay, I saw people reviewing these on some YouTube videos, and they had the older model, and I remember one of them saying there was no cover on the back. So they've added that, at least on this model. It's not metal, but it's a mesh here. This will keep big debris off of it, or kind of protect it a little bit from bumping it, I guess, but it's pretty flimsy. But it's better than nothing. And then here's a temperature sensor or an airflow sensor, one of the two. And in the front there's a metal shield. So we have that. And here's the MC4 connectors for solar to go in direct. And under here, I didn't take it off. Oh, there we go. These are going to be where the refrigerant lines go up to the inside unit, the fan unit. In case anybody's wondering, here's the manufacture date, 3/23/24. So not too old. It's July now, so it was made this year in March. So I'll get it put on. Here's some specs. More specs should be on the website, the same. ISC of PV, 12 amps. It's a 12,000 BTU model, and our 410A refrigerant. Motor load is, fan motor load is 0.42 amps. Compressor load 10.82 amps. And I don't know if that's the amp rating in DC or AC. Okay, so I'll get it hooked up. Now, I didn't see where to hook up the 110 on it yet. That must be under here, or under here. Somewhere under here. I'll have to look into, haven't really studied the manual yet. So far, so good. In case you're wondering, it was like $1,300. This is the 6,000 BTU window unit that EG4 is going to replace. So I thought I should get a benchmark. I'll plug it into the kilowatt meter here. I don't know if you can see a mud dauber filled up the ground plug in here. They do anything like that. Anyway, I'm going to plug this in and the outlet down here and get a benchmark of how much power this unit uses. Then when I get that other thing hooked up, EG4, I can compare. Here's what's powering it. Out back, 3500 watt inverter running off 48 volt batteries. That's going to power this right now. So I got it plugged in and it's hard to get at, but I'll turn the unit on. You can see the voltage there now. I'll turn this on and put it on whatever that says, watts. There, the compressor just kicked on. So 400 watts, over 400, still climbing. Looks like we're settling out 440 watts. And amps, 3.74 amps. And I didn't see the surge, I didn't catch that when it kicked on. I don't know if this meter would catch that. But that would be the power factor of it, which is pretty good, I guess. And again, here's the watts, 450 watts with the compressor running, 3.84 amps, 120 volts. So we'll be able to compare the other stuff, compare the other one when it's running. Of course, this thing is only 6,000 BTU. The other one's 12,000. And it's putting out some cool air, but it's super hot out today. Upper 80s, very humid. So it's getting a workout. Here's how it's setting right now on the platform I made. And I have my 1 foot from the wall. Although, you know, I think in the specs it says if you use the shelf brackets, hanging bracket, you only need 6 inches. I'm not sure the difference, but maybe the air comes up. They figure if you put it on the ground, you're blocking off airflow from the bottom maybe, so this should be fine. The only other consideration is I might want to slide it over if I want to get better access to the electrical here. I mean, from where my frame is here, I could put it over. It's not centered in the stand I made, so I'll have to consider that. But I'm going to have to move the board over if I do that. So a few design considerations. I just noticed this thing here already popped out from maybe from how it was tucked under here. Not a big deal, but I guess it's more to keep big stuff like big pieces of grass or big bugs out of it. Not even sure which way the air blows on this. If it blows this way out, probably does. Or if it's pushing the air this way. I'm assuming it goes out the front here. It's sucking air in the back, so when I mow the grass, I'll make sure it's pointed away. It's not blowing grass in here. It's nice and clean now. The coil's very nice and clean. Brand new. Here's the inside unit. That's the label on it. Same date, 3/21/2024. Here's what's inside of it. Template, nice. It'll make things easier. So there's cardboard template, and we have some pipe. It's probably the condensate drain pipe. And we have here tucked in here. I think this is the remote. Couple remote sensor, yeah, remote. And the holder for the remote. And then there's the inside unit. I don't know. Oh, here we go. I was wondering if there's any instructions. I've been reading the online instructions, but here we got some more stuff. We got some anchors and an Allen wrench, batteries for the remote, and whatever this is. No idea what's in that little package here. And this is probably to go for line set to go out through the walls. And in the little pouch, I'm not sure, it might be some glue to stuff up, put in there to weatherproof that. And some more screws back here. And they give some MC4 connectors for your solar connection. And whatever that is, oh, that's the MC4 pins. So I'm going to take a look at these instructions, and it's going to go mount on the wall up here. I've already marked my center line where I want to center it, so I'll take a look at the instructions and see what's up. And underneath it, here's some more stuff. Some tape for, I'm not sure, it might be to wrap around the line set. And this is some cable connectors between the indoor and outdoor unit. Color coded, labeled, numbers. There's ground, and so we'll figure that out later. Looks like pretty good quality cord. Here's what it says on it. 105 degree rated for 18 gauge, 300 volts. There we go. So it's even got a label on it. Feels like rubber. And here's the line set that was in with the outdoor unit. I haven't opened it. I don't want to open it till I'm ready to use it, but it's got some insulation on there with a, there you can see it's got insulation, and it's got this. Must be an outdoor, maybe an outdoor a little bit tougher. And here's the label on that. Guess it doesn't show the date, but that's what it is. Here's the back side of the indoor unit, which I'm just getting unwrapped now. These going to be the refrigerant connections here. And this is the bracket. Oh, there's a little tab here. So I'll use that template, I guess. I'll have to read the instructions. I think there's a screw in here holding it in yet. So I'll figure out how to mount this. Although I don't see how that screw would go in from this side if it's back against the wall. But we'll figure it out. Unless it's just for transportation, but must be. Anyway, there's this kind of covering on here. Zip tied on, just for some insulation and protection. So I'm going to read the manual and see how this works. And here's the manual. Pretty extensive manual. Probably the same one I looked at online. It's nice having a paper copy in case you don't have the internet. And it's all in English. There's no other language in this, just English. So there we go. 3, 24, 30. Anyway, that's when the printing was. So I'm going to take a look at this, and you already saw what was in there. some of these wall anchors and more anchors, MC4 connectors for the solar. This is going to ensure, and this is some kind of like a flexible caulk or something to seal that up for the line set, weatherproof it and keep bugs out. So now all I gotta do is figure out how to hang this inside unit up. When you see a pepper like this and it's all wilting, usually you look on the stem for a corn borer. There's the hole, see? I'm going to slit that open and find the borer. Maybe be able to save this, but might be too far gone. So this guard here that has come away, I haven't looked at it close, but I don't know how to make it stay up there. It's a little short. Tuck under this lip. And the way it is that if leaves and bugs or whatever get in there, it's gonna get caught in there, you know, and it'll build up. So I'm gonna have a cover over this, but I might just tape it down or something just to keep things from getting in there. So it's a good idea to have that cover, but it's not a good idea when it doesn't fit right. See how it's coming away? It's just not quite long enough. So I don't quite like that. The other thing I noticed in the booklet is there's a drain in the bottom of this that you should probably take consideration of. Down here, see the hole? That's where all the condensate is going to drain out of. So I'm going to drill a hole in the deck here below it. They say you can plumb it up if you need to, but I'll just drill the hole so you can see maybe the hole in there. Guess I can't zoom in on it, but anyway, it's right below in the middle of the unit. So I want the condensate to be able to just fall down. So I'm going to drill a hole in the deck, and then I'm using some stainless, I don't know if they really gave anything big enough, but I'm using stainless screws to hold this down onto the wood. So I'm going to do it. There's 4 of them, 2 here and 2 in back. This is my solution for that, for this nylon mesh that's sticking out. I took some of this metal tape. It's good quality stuff. Got good adhesive, and then I just stuck it on here and I folded it back. I folded the excess back on itself so it's pretty rigid. Oops, see, it popped out there. Then I can push it down and it holds that back and it'll act like an edge. Hopefully this adhesive will stick a long time. Anyway, it'll keep things from getting behind there. We'll find out over time. I tried unscrewing this screw and pulling it up, but that didn't work. Maybe a little bit on this edge, but it didn't work overall. So anyway, that's my solution to having that not stick out. And I drilled the hole in the deck for that drain. Yeah, you remove this screw here, the one I already took it out, and then this comes off. And then I already mapped out the template, kind of where I want to have it. So say about 6 inches down from the ceiling, and I put this up and sized it out, made a couple holes with some screws, and I marked the holes here, here, and this is where that hole's going to be for the line set to go out. So I'll hang this up. I'll hang this up here, get it leveled, and then I gotta drill the hole. They say to drill the hole Get a little bit of a downward angle, you know, so it'll drain if any water got in there on the outside, which makes sense. So plus for line set to go down. So that's the next step. I'm gonna put the bracket up and drill this hole. I just was looking for a hole saw. The hole will be 2.5 inches. I've got this really long Milwaukee drill bit, brand new, got it at Habitat for Humanity for like $4. And then I'm going to use the hole saw here. I don't have a big hole saw, but I'm going to drill this hole with the pilot drill to outside, and then I'm going to use this one. Hopefully it'll go all the way through. I've got a couple layers of insulation, and then the outside is aluminum. So plywood, insulation, aluminum, and I don't want to hit the studs that go through this truck box. That's what it is. Okay, I've gotten a little bit more done on this project. I leveled and mounted the bracket, the inside wall bracket. I drilled the hole, 2.5 inch hole through the wall. And on this unit, this condensate drain was on this side, and this plug was on the other side, so you pull the plug out of this side and put it on this so that these can be together. And there's a little clip on the bottom of this that slides over that little notch. There's a little notch on there. Anyway, you'll figure it out. And then I bent this up. I wanted to be real careful bending this, but you can see there's this metal around there, so you can, I was afraid of kinking it because, you know, soft copper, when you bend it you can kink it, but it has this really strong steel structure around it, which I didn't see on the end. And I had slid in this insulation a little bit to make sure it was all going good, and then I noticed the steel, so I'll have to retape this up. So the next step is to get this cord on there. This is going to be the inside part of the cord, and I was looking all over the back here for the junction box, but it turns out the junction box is in the front. And then I also had to figure out how to get the wire through. And you see here, there's that hole there and a little metal. That's where this wire is going to go through, and it'll come out the other side where the junction box is. So I'm going to try to get that through now. I guess I might have to get the other one open first. So I'm going to go at that now. So it comes taped together. You know, take that tape off, it holds this down, and then here's the junction box right here. And since I did this the other day, I can't remember if there was a cover over it or not. But here's the holes back behind there, so I'm going to stick that wire through now. Putting a little tape around these extra wires, so now splayed out, is going to help get that through that back hole. Because I already tried once and those wires all bend sideways and get all hung up. Got it through, not the easiest thing, poke through. And then I saw in the manual, or the online manual, I think the online one's a little better, it said something about if you see this dangling in there, don't worry about it. So it's dangling in there. I don't think it hooks up to anything, so I'll ignore it for now. And I'm going to get these hooked up. I'll get the manual and make sure I get 1, 2, 3, although they're labeled, I believe. So you don't actually need the manual. These are labeled. These are labeled 1, the wire's labeled 1, 2, 2, 3. So pretty self-explanatory, and then the ground. You have to take the ground screw out all the way because it's a ring terminal. These are spades, so you just have to loosen up enough and slide the spade behind the last washer on there, which takes a little fiddling. And then there's a cover. There's a cover that goes over this box, which I had already taken off the other day, forgot about, so that goes back on here. See, so I'll get that back on. There's a screw that holds it on here, and then I'm ready to tape up the stuff in the back, I guess. This is try 2 for me to get this through the hole. Tape this up, it'll make it easier. The first time I tried, this gets caught on the outside of the hole and folds back, and I'm going to try it again. It would be nice if I had someone to help me, but I'm doing it myself. So tape this stuff up tight, and the drain hose too, so nothing gets caught when you're putting this through the hole. That will help, I think. I'll let you know. Okay, I got it hung. I had to get help because the pipe, this back pipe, see how it comes out here? I had it bent, instead of right wherever it was there, I had it bent a little bit this way, so when I tried to snap it on the wall, it was not going through all the way, and I got a friend over. Kind of easier to do this with 2 people. So when I was trying to pull it back out to rebend it, that insulation was getting all snagged on the wall. Anyway, I got it done. I just noticed, I was looking in the manual, this little clip here goes over these wires, which I didn't see at first. Just so you know, you can see it back here. Clips in, and there's a screw that holds this part here. So, and this is that wire they said to ignore. Anyway, I got it through, so just gonna double check some things, and then I'll be working on trying to get the outside part done. This is that little clip that holds those wires on, and this screw isn't quite long enough to, see, it doesn't stick out much, so it won't catch in the plastic behind it. So I was gonna look for a longer screw. What I think I'm gonna do is trim this off, this little nub, and then that screw will probably work. I mean, I could leave this off, the wires are not going anywhere in there, but just little things like that that make a project take longer. There, see, I usually snipped it off. So now that screw is probably going to be long enough to grab, see? Sticks out enough now. Okay, that did the trick. Now it's in there tight. Before it was just turning, I thought I stripped that plastic at first, but it was just because that screw wasn't long enough. So there's where it goes. Like I said, even without it, but now it holds those secure. I put the cover back on over this, and we'll call that done. There, I got the cover on. It was just that one screw there. And so pull it off. So we'll call this inside part done for now. On to the outside. Well, not onto the outside. It's raining, which we need. So I'll go look at the manual some more. Doesn't look like it's going to be much rain, but we could use a little bit because the ground's getting dry. And it's hot, very hot out today. The online manual is much better than the one that came with it. It's got more detail. Things like this. Put the drain hose down there at the bottom, and good luck on that in real world, but try to. It's got all the details that other manual does not have. It's easier to see. So it's got all the clearances. I don't remember seeing these in the other manual that came with it. So use the online manual or print it out. Save yourself some trouble. Oh, it shows on the outside unit, it told about the hole, and it says there are 2 different types of drain joints. Now these didn't come with it. I didn't see them. I guess I could look through the packaging, but got rid of all the packaging already. And I did not see those in there, so if you're expecting these drain joints, I did not see them in the package. And I'm just going to let mine drip straight down like I showed before. And it's going to go over, this is the outside unit wiring now, which I'll do as soon as it quits raining, or sometime. It's raining and the sun is out, so it might be a nice rainbow outside. Back to that indoor wiring for a minute. See, here's where it says that 2-prong connector. It says just don't use it. And then here's where it shows that clip that I had to modify to hold the wires on. And there's the hole in the back, it's a little metal bracket where you snake that wire through from the back side to get into this side. Probably wouldn't have found it if I hadn't seen the instructions here. Next day, back outside, hope to get the refrigerant lines hooked up. I took this cover off. This cover off here, and I took the electrical connection cover off here. It's got about 5 screws holding it on. Now I'm trying to figure out, there's a plug here, gasketed plug, and they have a gasketed plug in here. But I'm gonna go look at their instructions and see what you can see they have the hold down, probably for this wire here, and I don't know what they expect you to hold it, how to get it through there, waterproof it. I'm gonna go look at their instructions. Otherwise, I guess I gotta supply my own hold down here, standard 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go get to that, look in the directions. Here's the online manual. It's looking through and they show that bottom drain, that fitting. I never saw that in mine unless it dropped out somewhere and I lost it or it got misplaced. And looks like everything else is there. Then I went down to the one that I'm trying to find, how they suggest putting the outside electrical connections. Here it is. They just show going through a clamp. They don't have any details, so I have a waterproof fitting I'm going to go get and put that on. Anyway, here's the ground 1, 2, 3. It's all labeled on the line 2, I think, and then line 1 and line 2 are going to be the 110. I got the 110 version. 12K 110, so black and white. Line 1's going to be black, line 2 will be white neutral. And they don't show a ground for it, do they? That's interesting. If they want you to use the same grounding point for these two, I'll look in there and see what they have, if they have another ground point in there somewhere. I have a couple of these Heikos. They're by a manufacturing company, Heiko. I had some laying around. See, they have a hole in there. There's a rubber gasket. I don't know if this will cinch down tight enough for this, but I'll just put some caulking or something in there to take up any extra room, or some rubber. And I'll use this one on this for the AC side, I guess. I'll bring this wiring in here. Should fit. So I'm going to get that hooked up now. Okay, I got the line from the inside unit coming in. Got it on here. They had these little plastic covers on there, maybe just to keep it from getting dirty when you're working outside. I pull them off because there's no logical way to put them on otherwise. Ground goes here, and there is a ground point for the 110 there that I was wondering. So that I'm gonna have to bring in. I don't want to bring them both in the same gland, even though I might be able to squeeze them in. But there's a place here, see? So I'll probably bring it in there and figure out some kind of waterproofing for it. See what I have in my collection of things. Had some rubber electrical tape wrapped around. It adheres to itself, and once it sticks to itself, it doesn't come off. So that's going to make up the difference for that hole size and waterproof it. Okay, I got these just slightly on there to hold them. Now I'm going to get some wrenches on and then tighten them, and then torque them to the specs. And they had these plastic covers over them. So once you push those in, these are pre-vacuumed, so once you push them in, it's going to open up into there. So you don't want to partially do it. You want to do it pretty quickly so that you get a good seal right away. Okay, I finished making all my refrigeration connections. I have a torque wrench. Borrowed these crow's feet from a friend, and you can see it fits on this base unit, but this isn't the part you have to turn. You have to turn this one, and I don't have one to fit that. It worked on the ones up here. On the ones up here I could use that because, well, I'm not sure why I could use them up there, but I did. I guess I was turning on this, which was turning the whole thing. Probably not right, but so make sure you have that size for these big ones. I torqued them on these. I guess I did. Basically, get them pretty tight and then give them another good thing. I guess a lot of people probably don't bother with the torque wrench. I have the torque settings all here, which is pretty hard. I mean, give it a pretty good turn. So we'll just see what happens. Now my next step's going to be to take the cap off and open up the refrigerant and let it go up. But I'm going to get some soapy water to check my fittings so you can check for leaks. So I'm going to go get the soapy water and then open them up. And then you're supposed to torque this back, which I will have the right torque nut for that, or torque socket or whatever I want to use for that. Should have that in my set. Okay, time to open up the refrigerant. And oh, in case you were wondering, this was a 22 millimeter to fit on some of those ones I torqued, and I know this bigger one's bigger than it was bigger than 1 inch is what I had, I guess. Anyway, and this cap is a I think it's a 19. Yeah, it's a 19 millimeter to torque this cap on. So now what I'm supposed to do is take the top one off, and gonna open this valve that'll let the refrigerant go up here. This is the gate where you'd put the gauge set or vacuum pump if you had to do that. So we won't do that. We're not supposed to need to unless there's a problem. So they give you an Allen wrench with it. So I'm going to open it up and we should hear the gas coming through. It's on there tight. My battery's about ready to die, but I think you could hear that. And turn it all the way until it back seats. That's what they say, until this valve stops. Hopefully it'll stop. There it goes. So it's all the way open. And then put this cap back on, torque it, and do the same with the bottom. Could be a gasket in there. It should seal up in case there's any leakage around that valve. And I have my digital torque wrench here ready. It says 30 Newton meters. That's the range of this little torque wrench. I got a bigger wrench if I need to. But let's see what it says. That's a lot of force. That's a lot. I'm having to push pretty hard on that. It's turning. It's really cinching. This one beeps when you get in the range. Oh boy, that's hard. I don't know if I want to really turn as hard as they say. I might use the bigger wrench. I have another regular click type torque wrench. Before the battery dies, I'm going to repeat that on this. Then I'm going to use this leak. It's just basically soap water, and put it on all these places and check them for leaks. It'll bubble out if it's leaking. And if not, I'm going to go hook up some kind of power to get this thing to run. It's hot out here today. They gave a couple pieces of insulation to cover up, I guess, the ends and, you know, the open area up there. But I'll do that later. I might get some insulation, you know, tape and put it around instead. So there is this you can put on, tape it up tight. But right now I'm going to hook up the solar. I have I'm making a temporary wiring, PV plus, PV minus, and I got these here, which are just on some wires for now. Just temporary until I do it right permanently. So I'll get these things hooked up and then hook them up inside where I already have a 240 volt DC connection. Okay, I've got the power hooked up out there. Something's drawing 23 watts. There you got 260 volts going in. Maybe just the fan is on now. I don't even know how to run it. I'm just winging it. This turned on. Oh yeah, I feel the fan. I feel the fan. So the fan's what's drawing that power. Now, I just need to know how to make it cool. Cool. Let's go see if the outside unit went on. I'll turn the temperature down. I don't know my metric. I'll have to study how this works. 26. Well, let's see. It's drawing just 12 watts or 20 watts. I have to go look and figure out how to make this thing turn on. There, I just walked out. It's turned on now. Outside unit's running. It's pretty darn quiet. I got it set for 19. I'm going to go back inside and... Well, it's refrigeration, guys. We always feel the pipes and see when them should be getting cool. When them should be getting warm. It's going to take a... Oh, this one's getting cold right away. The little skinny one, that's cold now. So that refrigerant's moving. I'm feeling heat coming out. I'm going to go back inside. Okay, so I'm drawing 2 amps at 246 volts, so that's 500 watts. I got it wired in to this meter. I used to have this set up for this baseboard heater down here, resistance baseboard, so I unhooked that and hooked these on. Since I had the meter already set up, it's convenient until I get that app running. And I have a video on the baseboard and how I bypass it around. But anyway, let's see if there's some cold air coming out of this. Feels pretty cool. So I don't know, I don't have any 110 in there. It's just running off the solar now. Oh, that's nice. Just let this run. I don't know what it'll do when it press this down. That goes down, see? I don't know what it'll do when there's not enough solar, if it just shuts off or if it cuts back on the power it's using. I guess for now it has all available power it needs to run. I'll just let it run. I'm going to go see if I can figure out how to make that app work. That'll show more details. But this is my PV input. Here's the PV I have hooked up to it right now. It's kind of halfway sunny out. Not super bright, but that's a lot of power there. That's 8 panels. If you want to know the specs, I gotta find the sticker on here somewhere. Anyway, it's a little under 2 kilowatt hours, I think. 2 kilowatts of panel. Here's what the panels are. Oh, mosquitoes are terrible out here. Here's what they are if you can read them. 225 watt, and the voltage power 29.8 volts, open circuit 36. Anyway, it's nice to see this running finally after all the different days of work I've put in. I'll get the 110 on there. First I'm going to figure out the app. But it's really quiet, super quiet compared to a regular air conditioner. Let's see a comparison on watts from this one running compared to the window unit. I'll turn it back on. What am I on? There's volts, amps, watts. That's what we want, watts. There, it just kicked on. So 300 and 400 watts for the window unit, 5,000 BTU, or 5 or 6. I think it's 6. So it's 439 watts. We can compare watts to watts. And this one is drawing 543 for 12,000 BTU compared to 6,000 BTU. So if that's any indication, it's a lot more efficient. And compared to that window unit, this is super quiet. I guess this thing articulates itself, but yeah, it's moving. I haven't read the directions on running any of this stuff yet. I just winged it to turn it on. But this is so much quieter than that window unit. And you can tell it's kicking out a heck of a lot more cool compared to that window unit. So definitely more efficient. A lot more expensive too. The window unit's probably about, what, a couple $100 maybe new. And these are $1,300. But that one won't heat. This one will heat too. Okay, for the app it says to scan the code. I scanned the code and it took me to Play Store anyway. So you could just go to Play Store, Google Play, at least for Android, and look for Solar Aircon. I'll install it and see what it does. While it's loading, I'm just looking through some of this stuff, and of course they want to know everything about you probably, because here they want send me notifications. Well, if that's locally on the phone, I can just say no. User agreement, provide email address, and select I agree to get a verification code. So of course everybody wants to know everything about you or track stuff, because they could just make it so it would work, right? And you set a password, so it's probably sending it's probably to connect to it probably goes to some server in China or somewhere just to connect to your local thing, but I'm not sure. Maybe it goes Bluetooth direct, but a lot of these devices, of course, go to outside servers, and I'll go try it once it finishes loading on my phone, and then we'll see if anybody's hacked it, so we can just do it direct without anything special. Like maybe I can control it off of a ESP32 or something. I don't know if there's enough of them out there that anybody's done all that, but it's a Tuya device. I saw that. Tuya is like a type of control. Okay, I got the app running. Look at, they know my phone is rooted. The app's not secure on a rooted device. Is it secure on a non-rooted device? Log in, sign up. See, you can't use it just, it won't just work. That would be too easy, and they can't get all the info on you. So, I guess I have to sign up. Register, email address, agree. I'm going to look at their privacy policy just for the fun of it. Well, we know who makes it. It's a Dai, at least the inverter part of it. So what are they saying in here? Am I going to read all this? If you're a customer, we don't want to be contacted by us. What personal information do we collect? That's always nice to know. We'll ask you to provide the personal data that's required. Oops. If you don't do that, we may not be able to give you services. Okay, so they want your account with us, with them, your name, contact, email, username. Okay, that's all standard. Feedback, suggestions, information we collect automatically. Your MAC address, your IP address, and version, blah blah, usage. They collect your usage, clicks, downloads, messages. That's all standard, I suppose. Location, we may collect information on your real-time, precise and non-precise location. See, they want to know where you are. It's not like everything else I use isn't tracking me, but I do take out standard firmware and put in open source stuff. Like on this phone, it's an old Samsung phone. I have Lineage OS on it, operating system, no more Samsung. And then what do they do with the personal data? They may share it with third-party providers who perform businesses, data analysis, credit card. They give you the stuff you want to see. Well, it's a long privacy policy, isn't it? And they take it internationally. Your rights. via the profile. You don't have to pay a fee. And you can get your personal data deleted from their databases. You can correct your inaccurate data retention. They'll keep it forever, I guess. And changes, that's the end. Okay. Now I know that they're not doing anything bad, right? I'll have to register to get this app to work. So that was the privacy policy. So now here's the user agreement, another how many pages of stuff. You know, look at all that. So you just agree to all that if you want to read it, but probably nobody does. Okay, I gave them my email and they right away sent me this verification code, which I will put in the app to get it to work, and it went in my junk mail folder. So if you don't get the email, look in your spam folder or junk mail, whatever, on your email. Okay, I put in the code. Here's the next page. Allow us to collect data related to product usage. If you disable permissions, basic functions are still available. I'll uncheck it. Go to app. No devices. I have to go back out. I'm in a different room from the AC. I have to go back out there. See if I can add this. Let's take a look. It's still running. 500 watts at 244 volts, 2 amps at that equals 500 watts. And it's only used, this adds up kilowatt hours. So it's only used a third of a kilowatt hour since I turned it on, however long ago that was. Not too long, but it's cool in here already. Let's see if this will work for the app. Add device. It's requesting the following access permissions. Of course you are. Continue. Use to get your home city location, whatever. Only when using the app. If I deny it, it probably won't work. Maybe later I'll turn the permission off and see if it still works, but solar AC. Add manually. Wow, that's cold air coming out of this thing. That is cool. Turn on the Bluetooth. Okay, I don't have the Bluetooth on. Where is it? This one. Pair the new device. These are JK. Maybe I don't need a pair it. Let's see if it shows up. Reset the device. Well, this almost take me as long as it took me to install the thing. So I'm gonna mess around with this and get it running. Reset the device. I guess I have to follow these directions, so I gotta grab the remote and figure this all out. I think I got it connected. I had to follow what this said, and you had to press this light button a bunch of times, and then something was supposed to flash, so I was looking here, but actually that thing was flashing. You can see the Wi-Fi symbol. Then it had me put in my router and Wi-Fi. So it's connected to my internet basically. So here it is. Let's see what it does. I guess you can remote control it with this. PV input 0 watts. That's interesting. The fan's running. I must have some watts coming in. Oh, shit. I accidentally pressed this thing, whatever that does. I only use the phones now and then for stuff like this. Oh, there now it's showing 334 watts PV input. Let's compare that to my other meter. Yeah, pretty close. This one says 43. This says 479. So it's running all on the solar now. 20 degrees C it's set for. So I don't know. Is it that useful having the app compared to just that remote control? I guess if you want to see it from somewhere else. Total saving energy watt hours. Cooling mode, fan speed, auto, let you select that, and cooling. I guess I'm in cooling. Switch, turn it on and off, I guess. So it doesn't do too much. I mean, this would be the only part you'd really want to see if you want to know how much it's splitting between the two, PV to AC. But I could tell that here with my other meter, so I'll decide if I want to keep this app. I'm guessing I could go somewhere else maybe, since this is talking to the internet all the time, right? I could go anywhere and see it, what it's doing, and turn it on and off. Okay. Well, that's going to conclude my video for it. I won't show hooking up the AC. I'll do that later. I'll clean up and wrap all those pipes and attach them nicely and stuff like that. But for now, I'm going to say my video's done on how to install the thing. It works. I left this tape on here. Now I have to study up more. Like, I don't understand if this is articulating this. I don't know if you can adjust it to just stay in one position, or supposedly there's a filter in here. Oh, these are the filters here. I didn't really pay attention to them before. You can take those out and clean them if they get dirty. Wow, it really is cool compared to that other air conditioner. So this will be nice. Anyway, that's my EG4 experience. So far so good. Oh yeah, there's another page here on the app, so you can control with the Alexa or Google Assistant, do all those things. Have it notify you online, share device, all this stuff, which I won't do. But if you want to do those things, you can do it. Otherwise, there isn't too much more to this app. What I'd like to, if I got anything, I'd like to just get this data, these two datas, and bring it into my other controller, my other monitoring. This is the next day. It's kind of a cloudy day. I'm going to try to start it up and see what it takes for a surge, if this meter will show it. The outdoor unit isn't running, just the indoor unit. There it goes. You can see it doesn't have a big surge, it just ramps up pretty slowly. That's the compressor starting here. Should go outside and see what it looks like if the fans aren't out there yet. You can see it's ramping up pretty slowly. Compressor I can hear running. Seems like the fan is picking up, so it must ramp both the compressor and the fan up real slow so you don't get a big surge. Then here we have again about what we saw yesterday, 440 watts when it's running full. I'll have to look at the rating again because I haven't seen it go over, that power level. I have it set down for real low. I don't know where I put the remote, but it's kicking out cold air now. I thought I turned it down to 18, 16. I turned it down to 16. This is showing 20. I haven't really figured all this out yet. There, I heard the fan slow up some. I thought this, maybe, I don't know if this shows the temperature inside or I'll press, can't read this too well. Get in the light. Turn on some lights. It's kind of an overcast day today. I don't know what all these symbols mean. If I press cool, it shows 26. If I press down, it still shows 20. So I don't really understand how to work this yet. There. Now it's going down as I'm pushing this down. 18, it shows 18 here. I'm not sure what this symbol means either. It's kind of got a little barcode with the sun. Maybe that means it's run on solar. I'll have to see in the manual if it explains all this. But it's kicking out some cold now. Okay, so it's up 479. It's ramping up still a little bit more. Maybe because I turned it way down to 18C, which is pretty cold. I want to see if this kilowatt meter is fast enough to find the surge when I turn this window unit on. Let's see if it catches the... They're kicked on. I thought I had it on watts there. Now the compressor came on. I saw it surge up to 800 watts. It's settling back down around 300. So there's quite a bit of surge, where another one you don't have any surge. It ramps up slowly from zero. Where this one had the AC induction surge. 800, at least 800. I don't know if it even catches the peak. Okay, I'm going to try this again. I have it on amps mode this time. I turned it off. Let's see what it catches for amps on a 110 circuit or 120. I press the on button. just doesn't want to kick the compressor on yet. Come on. There it goes. I saw it surge up to 8 point something amps. Settling on at 2.7. 328. So that shows the surge is quite a bit on a window unit compared to that other one, which is twice as big. This doesn't kick up near as much cool air either, so shut it off. This is the PV input to that unit outside, to the EG4. I'm sharing it with the charging the batteries, but I have this PV input off and this one on, so it's only going to the outside. In the winter before, I was splitting this with a resistance heater, but I don't know if it's good to do that with two MPPT controllers like out there. But when I just had the resistance heater on, I have this controlling it, a contactor, so that the power comes in, it goes to here, and this also goes to the resistance heater, which now goes to EG4. So when I had it in that setup, it didn't matter if I split the load, because it would just, the resistance heater would basically take all the current and nothing went to this, even with the PV input on. So, and then this could turn it on when the batteries were full, or I could put a thermostat in there to turn it on and off if I needed heat. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that with this MPPT controller in that EG4, because I don't know if they would fight with each other and do weird things to the voltages. So now it's just one or the other. Right now it's the EG4. Just trying it out the next day on a kind of a cloudy day. And so far it works great. It really cooled it down yesterday in here quite quickly. And see, I'm only up at it took about a half a kilowatt hour yesterday to run it for, I don't know, a few hours. However long I had it on, and it cooled it down in here. This is the total kilowatt hours, or watt hours. Here's what it's drawing. So for a little bit more power it takes than that window unit, you could get a lot better efficiency. That's no doubt about that.